Okay. This is Doug Dunning. Today, your moderator introducing Robert ZDar. How do you do, Robert?
I'm doing fine, Douglas Dunning, and how are you doing?
I'm doing fine, too. Now, tell us from the, give us a little background on yourself leading up to this film, if you would.
Alrighty. Would you like a little brief resume, as in other words? Is that what
Yes, something like that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. I started my career with a degree in music, actually, and I achieved much success when I was a youngster. I had a group called the Nova Express from the William Burroughs book, and we had horns then, and we actually were managed by Aaron Russo, who then became governor of Colorado. But while he was in Chicago, he was the rock and roll magnate, and Chicago and Los Angeles were the rock and roll havens. Mm-hmm. We never had a hit record, but we were the opening act for both of his theaters. And the Electric Theater and the Kinetic Playground. And we were really good. And I must say that we opened up for bands such as that played over there for the Jefferson Airplane, Starship, Blood, Sweat, and Tears with Al Cooper, also with David Clayton Thomas, the Iron Butterfly, what English groups, The Who, John Mayall, Spencer Davis with Stevie Winwood playing organ. Yeah. Mm-hmm. By the way, there was no bass player. It was just Spencer on acoustic guitar with a microphone.
Yeah, he's very good.
Stevie Winwood and a drummer. Mm-hmm. And that's when I decided that I either need to pick up and I was a very good keyboardist, but I either needed to pick up my keyboards a little bit more because he could play the foot pedals on the B3 with the going through the Leslie speaker. And he was doing all the bass notes for Give Me Some Lovin' and all the songs and singing them at the same time. And I'm going, perhaps a couple more years and I'll be where he's at. But I was really good. Mm-hmm. I'm being very modest too. I was very good. But after seeing him, what an inspiration it was to see Stevie Winwood. He's been my idol in a long time. All the British actors, and I mean the British musicians, have all really had an influence on me. Well, we'll move on. Got bored with the bands, wrote about 32 commercials for radio and television in the late 60s, early 70s. We worked exclusively with J. Walter Thompson and Leo Burnett, the advertising agencies. I had the Home Hotel toy account, Putt-Putts, the Barbie game, I don't know all the damn tours anymore, but anyway, we had those going. And as a youngster,
okay, Bob. Continue on. Now carry on where you left off, where you were talking about. It was just after you left the bands.
After I left the band, my music manager, who was also affiliated with music, I went on. I did a lot of theater in Arizona, and I did some stuff at a bunch of the little theaters, in and out, not a heck of a lot, and. But I did my minor at Arizona State, where I went to school. I studied voice at Northwestern, and then I went to Arizona State and played rugby there. And my manager said, "You need to come to California." And I went there, and I worked for a security bodyguard service at the time when I was actually a lot bigger and more muscular at the time. Mm-hmm. I met a lot of great connections, and because they had a lot of guys that were very big but couldn't speak properly, they gave me all the Class A jobs. So it was a wonderful thing to go in and do that. I went and got a job to increase my income by working at Chippendales, and I was one of their hosts there.
Really?
And then all the dancers were small, so one of them got sick, and they asked me to fill in. Well, I was a little bit steroided out at the time, and I could move really well, but not of the finesse of a jazz dancer.
Right.
So they had to give me a different type of routine. When I was dancing there, a casting director named David Graham, who did Three's Companies, wanted to come in there, and David Graham took me and somebody else to be extras on Three's Company. And I jumped on the thought of that. Uh-huh. And I was the one that got the job. Then my agent was Beverly Hecht, who was around a long time by then. I doubt if she's still alive right now, but she was a wonderful, wonderful lady. Anyway, I started acting. I did the Three's Company job, and I still was dancing at Chippendales. I started studying very heavily, and they always say don't mix your teachers. Well, I decided to not follow that routine, and I was studying with Nina Foch, Charles Conrad for cold reading. I did 3 teachers at one time, and I kind of developed my own style.
Yeah, Nina was very good. Yes.
Nina was great. She'd right away pull those 3 things out to go to when you're in a jam. And she told me that mine was a tiger, a bear, and a piece of rock that couldn't be moved. And
that's good. I like that.
I said, Nina, as long as you didn't say like a gopher or something, I would have set me back a little bit recluse with my manlyhood. Yeah. But it worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
I just started getting roles. I auditioned for something for Canon Films called Hot Chilies. I dyed my hair blonde, and I played kind of a bisexual chauffeur. And then Painted Dolls came along, and that role was right for me. It's too bad I didn't have more dialogue. I have the copy of it up here at the Night Stalker, and it was interesting because Max Clevin loves his blood.
Oh yes.
And, I believe Jim Winburn was doing stunts on
Jim
that.
Winburn. Yeah, I worked with him where he directed his first film, Pyramids of Death. With
Jim's an old friend. Actually, Jim put me in a stunt class and was so amazed at my physicality and my quickness that I took a quick class with him, and then he got me a job on the A-Team show with him at Universal Studios for the tours.
Oh, really?
Which was a very good paying job, and I had alternates doing that, and when I was filming, so it was a wonderful period of my life at that time, and I learned a lot, and you can't stop learning. You got to just keep the mind and just the mind and just 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 with the 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 just catch by the so 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 just catch by the arrows just arrows the arrows just arrows arrows Sonny Landham. Anyway, so I went and I auditioned for him at the Ambassador Hotel, and Stallone was not there, but Kurt Russell and Andrei Konchalovsky was there, the director, and Andre directed.
He's a fantastic director. Yes.
The
Runaway
Train movie with Eric Roberts.
That's right.
Eric Roberts was phenomenal in that.
And John Voight. Yeah.
John Voight as well, wonderful actor. And I finished the scene that I had to read for when I came in, and I go, "This pig, he broke my ribs, my neck, and my jaw."
No, carry on from where you left off, which was...
Okay, Tango and Cash. I scared him so much. Kurt Russell said, "Oh, he's perfect. I don't want to bring him home for Thanksgiving. It's all good." And Andre says, "I told you." I think the most wonderful thing about working on Tango and Cash briefly was that my hair was very long because I was playing a lot of... I had ponytailed and...
No, I remember back then, yes.
Between Amir Shervan and
Max Clevin.
Playing cocaine dealers, and everybody loved me as a villain at the film markets. In fact, for in the late 80s and early 90s, I had the most films 3 years in a row at the American Film Market.
Yes, I remember that.
And it was quite a nice time for me. Never stopped working. It was wonderful.
Yes.
I started doing too many independents, though. Got a few slaps on the wrist from the union.
Yes.
They'll catch you. But I never got in trouble with them really to any extent.
Do what I do, financial
The thing that was so wonderful is I built up because of my ethnicity. I'm Austrian, Italian, and Czechoslovakian.
That's fine.
and the Eastern Europeans and the Italians love me. Germans, all of them, and well, I'm very popular in London. I have a friend who's vice president of a retired vice president of American Express, who I grew up with over there.
Really?
And he lives just right outside of London with his wife, and he would have to call me back in California and Illinois because they didn't believe that we grew up since grade school. We were best friends. That he knew the Maniac Cop, because the Maniac Cop 1, 2, and 3 were solid hits theatrically in the UK.
Right, I know.
And in fact, David, what was his name on the second one? He had a massive heart attack, though. He lived, but I can't think of his name. He was the executive producer from the London section. We had 2 people that were working on that.
Right.
With the budget of the financing.
Yeah.
But Maniac Cop 2 had a $10 million budget on it, so we were able to do so much more. I mean, the cast is phenomenal.
Right.
When you look
How did it come about that you met Emir Shervin, and what kind of a director was he?
in which movie? In the Samurai Cop?
Oh, that was the first one you did with him. Yeah.
Yes.
How did you meet him, and, you know?
Amir's very old school Persian. He was supposed to be the #1 filmmaker and I guess seller of movies throughout Arabia and Persia at that time. Of course, I wouldn't know all that, but from what everybody tells me is that he made quite a bit of money doing that. He's very old school. He loves that John Wayne. Everything dates back to an old Western. Amir Shervan, yes. Right. Amir. He liked this dialogue. He took a lot of the dialogue from like the silent westerns, going, "All right, men, go get him, kill him." Stuff that's very short, powerful, and demanding. You know, a lot of John Wayne stuff and things like that he enjoyed doing and putting them and incorporating them into a lot of his movies. He liked that. He liked that old Western philosophy. I mean, as far as cowboys and Indians philosophy, not like a Western philosophy, but in that and all of his movies. He was fun to watch. Whenever there was a love scene, Amir would like to do it about 4 or 5 times because I could tell that his eyeballs would be rolling around. And if his wife came in there, you know, to check on the set, that he said, "Everything's going fine. You can go now." I don't know what, but anyway, Amir was a great guy, and his family was wonderful.
Yeah, did he shoot it straightforward, or did he do it in a jokey way? I mean, did he know that it was...
Peter Pelayan, your DP, used a camera that was... it was a good camera. It was a C something.
I'm not talking about the camera. I'm talking about the way that he intended. Did he do it as a straight film, or did he do it as a kind of comedy?
No. It was very straightforward. No comedy with him. If comedy came out, that's just of his lack of understanding American way.
Right.
If you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. I know. He didn't understand the technique.
But I thought was funny on some of the things while we're being serious. He was dead serious about it.
Okay.
So, yeah. It was interesting with him.
How long did it take to film?
His films usually lasted about 3 weeks.
So about 20 days.
But 20 days, a couple of days on maybe, and maybe you get a couple of days off, and then we'll be back and do that. You know, we might work 5 in a row, then have 2 or 3 off, then work a day, another day off, 2 days, another day off, 3 day off. But the total would take up to about at least 3 weeks, 21 days,
What kind of a budget did he use? Do you know offhand?
He would never tell me.
That's what Gerald said. That's what Peter said. He just said he was cheap.
He was very cheap.
Yeah, but Peter figured it was about $800,000. That's what Peter figured. Yeah,
I think it was a lot less than that.
Oh, really?
Unless there was a big cut for Amir's salary.
Maybe. You know how they do that.
But he always trying to get paid from him at times, so it was like trying to squeeze blood out of a turnip. I will say that. But there was only one type of Amir Shervan and one Amir Shervan, and he was fun to work with, on all of his movies.
You worked with him 3 times.
Yes,
yeah.
yes. Killing American Style was fun too. I enjoyed doing that one.
Uh-huh. But what's your favorite of all 3?
None of them. No, I would say my Samurai. The fight scenes in Samurai Cop are really good. They're really done well.
Right.
When you're working with such masters, and don't throw me out the old Chinese names or anything else like that, but they are very. The older guys who you are now interviewing, and Gerald's phenomenal. I mean, Gerald was the one that took the time out to work with us individually off the set to work on the samurai technique and the movement. It had to flow. It had to be graceful. It had to be cat and mouse kind of type thing. When you're walking, you have to go in a circle, and you have to do it that way and stuff like that. And it was very much of a learning experience for me as well. And we all learned pretty quick because we were all at that time very agile and strong, and the fight scenes were good.
Right.
Matt Hannon was okay to work with. He was kind of fun. He a little boring with his diet. He took his bodybuilding a little too serious to me, but I don't care. I'll say that to his face too. I don't care. Anybody that eats turkey every day and then he falls asleep halfway through the set. Right. That's the tryptophan in the turkey. But he managed to muster up his adrenaline when he was when he was doing his fight scenes. And we had great fight. I had a great fight scene with him too. And then Gerald was great. So other than that, he was great. Killing American Style, I worked with Harold Diamond, and Harold was great to work with. Harold's a total professional as well.
Yeah. Why did he give you a Japanese name when you're not Japanese?
Because that's what Amir does.
Yeah.
Like I said, Amir does things a little bit probably that they still do in Bombay or something like that.
I see.
I'm not really too sure, but I do know that he does things his way.
Right. Now, did anything?
I'm having my British Earl Grey tea at the moment. So.
Right. Did anything unusual or funny happen on the set that you recall? Any particular incidents?
Yeah, I think I had a love scene with Cameron, my redhead, who we became good friends for a while after that. Cameron, she's really fun. She's great. She did a lot of modeling. Excuse me.
That's okay.
And, but she was a little nervous on our love scene at first, and so Amir went and got a bottle of wine, and we were just shooting that the whole day, I believe, and it finally got loosened up, and then it worked really well. It took about 3 or 4 times, but Carolyn's a real pro. I was really proud of her. She went on, for being mostly a model, she went on to do a lot of work with Star Trek, the television series, and I do believe on a couple of the movies. I'm not sure. High on the Hog.
Okay, now to get back to Samurai Cop, what do you think about how it has been rediscovered all these years later in the generations of fans? What do you think of that? When you were making it, did you think it would be remembered this far on?
Well, I'm actually very surprised, and I'll tell you why. Another gentleman called me. I don't have his name in front of me, but he called me about 1.5 years ago and said he was re-releasing it and doing something with it, and he wanted me to appear at a theater he was doing. I didn't know that it had so much buzz amongst people, and I just figured it was another one of my movies.
But what do you think about this kind of rebirth of the film all these years later? Did you think when you were making it, it would be remembered this well and revered in this way?
You know what? It's kind of mind-blowing, but that's been happening to me personally as a lot of my movies that I've done in that 1 10-year span that just saw